Okay, let's just jump right in. Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to unpack something completely fascinating. Today, we're looking at a master video generation prompt. The highly detailed instructions you'd feed into an advanced AI video tool like Sora or Runway. But this isn't just a generic prompt. It's an elaborate pitch for a brand new, purely conceptual app called Community as a Service, or CaaS for short. We're going to treat this like a director's cut, walking step by step through the exact storyboard of this prompt to see exactly how it leverages emotion, pacing, and tech to sell a pretty wild vision of the future.
So here's our roadmap for how this master prompt is broken down. The disconnection problem, enter community as a service, meet your AI members, cross-community connections, and finally, the final pitch.
Starting off with Section 1, the disconnection problem, and setting the hook.
Any truly great pitch needs a massive problem to solve, right? And this storyboard starts exactly where our modern pain points hit the hardest. It asks, why is building a community still so hard? Boom, that instantly sets the stakes. Notice how it totally skips the feature list and goes straight for that fundamental human frustration. It's validating that exhaustion we've all felt when we're just trying to find our tribe online.
To really drive that frustration home, the storyboard calls for this deep, heavy depiction of digital loneliness. It describes an isolated individual frantically switching between apps, feeling completely disconnected. And that's incredibly strategic. Before bringing in some flashy, high-tech solution, they are grounding the pitch in raw emotion. You literally have to feel the isolation before you'll buy into the cure.
Which brings us to Section 2. Enter Community as a Service, the one-tap ecosystem.
With the problem of isolation totally laid bare, the pitch reveals its big solution, CaaS. Now, the core mechanic here is what they call the one single tap. And from a behavioral design perspective, that is absolutely crucial. The whole vision is about completely obliterating friction. You aren't managing complex servers, setting up user roles, or wandering through clunky forums. Whether you're into fitness, tech, art, or food, the barrier to entry is just gone. It creates instant belonging. And instead of bogging the viewer down with a boring wall of text, the vision here is purely visual. Just this lively, flowing ecosystem. Imagine real-time chats buzzing, dynamic live events, and instant polls updating on the fly. It's a brilliant contrast to that lonely app switcher we saw a second ago. The user is instantly transported from a static, lonely space into this incredibly vibrant, breathing network.
All right, moving on to Section 3. Meet your AI members, the built-in personalities.
Okay, pay attention because we've hit the absolute secret sauce of this whole concept. Instead of just launching a platform and crossing their fingers that people will actually talk, CaaS seeds the community with built-in AI members. The prompt lays out 5 distinct personas: Aria for helping you learn, Nova for instant answers, Muse to spark ideas, Sage for dispensing wisdom, and Bridge for connecting different people together. Think about why this is such a game changer. The absolute biggest hurdle for new communities is the dreaded empty room problem. Nobody wants to be the first to post. By dropping in these AI characters, CaaS ensures that the second a real human joins, the room is already warm, it's active, and it's super supportive.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 4, Cross-Community Connections, Bridging the Gap.
You see, the platform's vision isn't about creating these isolated little silos. The prompt outlines a very specific micro-narrative to prove this. A fitness user seamlessly connecting with a nutrition expert who is from an entirely different group. This is exactly where that Bridge AI persona comes into play, actively cross-pollinating ideas between people. It's not just a standalone community anymore, it's this massive interconnected web. To really drive home how frictionless this experience is, the narrative shifts into this rapid-fire sequence of completely different demographics. We get an older person effortlessly joining, proving the UI is totally intuitive, a student asking questions, showing real educational value, and a business owner networking, demonstrating professional utility. It's rapid, it's diverse, and it makes sure the final pitch has true universal appeal. Finally, we reach Section 5, the final pitch, aesthetics, and call to action. As we enter the last few seconds of this conceptual pitch, the focus shifts entirely to emotional resonance. The prompt's aesthetic guidelines explicitly demand clean, modern UI, warm lighting, bright human expressions, smooth transitions, and uplifting, inspiring music. This is a highly deliberate psychological maneuver. It creates this massive, heavy contrast against the dark, lonely user from the very beginning. The aesthetic journey perfectly mirrors the emotional promise of the app itself.
And everything culminates in this one
Powerful final thought. Don't build a community, join one. I mean, wow. That is just incredibly clever copywriting. It acknowledges that building something from scratch is totally exhausting, and it shifts that burden entirely off the user's shoulders. It essentially whispers, hey, let our AI infrastructure do all the heavy lifting, you just show up and enjoy the connection.
To wrap things up, the pitch closes out with a super clear call to action. It flashes the name, CaaS, Community as a Service, and points the audience straight to a URL to join for free. It caps off this 45-second emotional and technological roller coaster by giving the viewer a definitive, actionable next step.
So, leaving this brilliant prompt behind, we really need to step back and look at the bigger picture here. This storyboard gives us such a fascinating glimpse into the future of social apps. As AI becomes more and more woven into our social fabric, we have to ask ourselves, will platforms like Community as a Service genuinely cure our digital isolation? Or, by literally populating our groups with AI personas like Muse and Sage, will they simply change the fundamental definition of what it means to be part of a community entirely? It's definitely a provocative thought to chew on. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and remember to keep questioning the technology that shapes our world. Catch you next time.